In this third chapter, Bhagwan explains about Karma Yoga. After explaining knowledge of the self and the Karma Yoga, Arjuna was perplexed as to what path he has to choose. If the Jnana Yoga was of highest, then why should he perform this action? Then Bhagwan explains the importance of Karma Yoga. Karma in general means an action that causes reaction or bondage. Are Sankhya and Karma Yoga two different paths? They are like the two sides of the same coin. One understanding the true nature of self when performs his duty without expecting any results but in an equilibrium state of mind at all times attains the divine. Thus, one path leads to the other and one attains the divine. What is the role of gunas? In this material world, there is no individual who can sustain without doing any work, without performing an action. Man cannot even maintain his physical body without work. He needs to breathe, eat, walk, talk. All these are the actions performed. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are the three gunas of the material nature, Prakriti. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Innate nature is dependent on the guna predominant at that moment, which forces one to perform the action. Therefore, one can't avoid to perform an action, and thus gunas are forcing us to do karma. Who is a Tattvavit? How should he deal with the ignorant people? A Tattvavit is one who is in the knowledge of the absolute truth, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between the work in devotion and work for fruitive results. He engages himself in the activities and performs his duty without expecting any results in equilibrium state of mind. He becomes naturally unattached to the activities of the material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. A Tattvavit, by performing his duties for the welfare of the mankind with equilibrium state of mind, pleasant state of mind, without being attached to the actions performed, and by this way being an example to the people, he can help the ignorant people as well to come to this path of Karma Yoga. Is it necessary to do karma even after attaining the Atmajnana? One who is, however, taking pleasure in the self, who is illumined in the self, who rejoices in and is satisfied with the self only, fully satiated. For him, there is no duty. As he is no more interested in material activities, no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements, he has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Bhagwan says, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything. Yet I am engaged in work. If I did not engage in work, O Arjuna, certainly all men would follow my path. Whatever action is performed by great man, common men follow in his footsteps. Whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Therefore, the Jnani or Tattvavit should perform action even after attaining the Atmajnana for the welfare of the people. Kings like Janaka and others attained the perfectional stage by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. What are the stumbling blocks on the path of self realization? What should a Jnani be cautious about? Attraction and repulsion, raga, dvesha, for sense objects are felt by the embodied beings. But one should not fall under the control of senses and sense objects because these are the stumbling blocks on the path of self realization. Like the fire is covered by smoke, the mirror is covered by dust, or the embryo is covered by the womb. Similarly, this living entity is covered by different degrees of this lust. Pure consciousness is covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, which wields the real knowledge of living entity and bewilders him. Therefore, one in the very beginning should curb this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self realization. Thus, the Jnani conquer this insatiable enemy, lust, and remain in the knowledge of the self. How do we deal with karma, our greatest enemy, through Karma Yoga? Knowing that the senses are superior to the dull matter and the mind is higher than the senses, the intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. One, by not giving up the duty but performing the prescribed duties and gradually developing the knowledge of the self, one can be situated in the transcendental position without being influenced by the material senses and the mind. By steady intelligence directed towards one's pure identity, one can overcome this lust and be situated in the knowledge of the self through Karma Yoga.